All right, well, you had to step away there real quickly for a team meeting. Obviously, everybody's wondering about the second closest margin in Tour history right now, 23 seconds. It's raining. What can you tell us about the next 4 or 5 hours?
I can't tell you about that. That's why it's a team meeting. They close the doors for that. But it's raining, it's slippery. The team's incredibly satisfied with second. That being said, it's the Tour de France too, so we'll just have to see what Cadel feels like when he's out on the road and whether or not if he wants to make a run at it or not. But with the roads being as slippery as they are, it's either way. I mean, you could make a run at it and lose second. You can make a run at it and possibly win the Tour de France too. So it's going to be up to Cadel to make the call when he's on the road and just let us know what he wants to do.
You know, everyone's going to be looking to quick step. They're obviously the team that have been the strongest in the sprints. They've got a whole team surrounding Boonen, you know, so it's their responsibility at the end of the day probably to try and keep the race together. For the rest of us, you know, we've got to try and, you know, we've got myself and Thor together, and, you know, we've got to try and play off quick step a little bit, and, you know, inside that last K banner, you know, I've got 2 choices. I can try and, if I feel I can do it, overcome quick step before the last corner, or just bring Thor up onto the wheel of Boonen, which should also not be a bad scenario.
I think it's been a tour full of surprises. A lot of guys who've had good tours. A lot of teams have had good tours. I mean, you know, a young guy like Contador, who's you know, who's had a really good season at the age of now like 24, 25, who's not won the Tour de France. It's you know, it looks like there's a bright future for cycling. You know, my teammate Soler is also a young rider, you know, so you can at least see there's promise in cycling at, you know, at the moment, and that the future of cycling looks pretty much secure from the sides of the riders, that there is a future. So I think it's turned out to be a decent tour in the end.
For most teams, the Tour de France is over, but maybe not quite for you just yet.
Depends about the decision of the jury. They said if it would rain on the Champs-Élysées, they want to freeze the time. And I think we're one of the only teams that not agreed with the time freeze. For if they want to freeze the time, they also have to freeze the points, because the little cobbles on the Champs-Élysées, and there's a lot of stake for the green jerseys for us, and would be very dangerous for crashes, and that would be the most silly way to lose a green jersey, with a silly crash at the last day. So we will have to see the decision of the jury, and otherwise we will try to defend the green jersey.
I think the stage that might go on Albisca was riding really strong. I pulled I think 100 kilometers alone in front till Marie Blanc. That was good, and I think we also mentally we were strong, because yesterday I was 11 in the time trial. It was good to finish this tour.
What was really great, it was today.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. When you came here first time on the Champs-Élysées, I don't know how to say it, but it's incredible. It's the feeling here. Yeah, you see it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, I don't have to explain. It's, you get a, I don't know how you call it in German. You say Gänsehaut.
Yeah, goosebumps.
And you are. Yeah, I was really motivated to make a good race today, and to. Yeah, but it was so fast in the end. I tried to attack. I tried to maybe to do something on the last lap, but yeah, when it's 70 km per hour, you have no chance to attack. And so we had our sprinter Robert Förster, and yeah, for us it was not so successful today, but yeah, okay.
All right.
I don't know. This is a little bit anticlimactic this year, but just it's a relief this year, and you know. But you're still thinking, you know, don't crash, and you know, all these other things going through your head, and you're thinking of where I was a couple of years ago, and if I would be here again, and things like that. So I mean, there's a lot of random thoughts that go through your head in a day like today, because it's so easy at the beginning, so you do have the time, but not. The biggest thing is just relief.
Well, you know, for me, I think it's really a big contradiction right now, where the sport at some level, and certainly at an event level or team level, is fighting for survival. But then you see the tremendous potential the sport has. The way the tour started off so brilliantly in London, you know, beautiful setting, great sporting event, you know, the world audience. That shows the potential. I think people have to set aside their differences, some of which are personal, some of which are historic, and decide what are we going to do to make this sport fundamentally healthy and attractive going forward. It's not rocket science, it's not that challenging, but people need to, you know, set aside the swords, stop pointing fingers, and take some unified action.